sometimes we forget about the hide and tallow trade. In fact, there were a lot of different shipping companies coming into California from all over the world. So you would have seen folks here in California from Hawaii and China, Portugal, Africa, also folks from Italy and France and Spain and England and Ireland, Denmark, Germany, Sweden, Finland. If there was a port anywhere in the world. It looks like a house, huh? This is actually the size and shape of a 35-foot, two-masted coastal schooner. And these were made here in California at the Russian Boat Works, both at Fort Ross and Bodego Bay. If you came here on one of those great big hide boats, you want to get that filled and sent back where it came from. So the longer it stays in the Pacific, the more money they're losing. So these little boats are going to be used to go up and down the coast, meeting up with rancho owners for cowhides. Now, when you signed up to be on a hide ship, you signed up for 2 years. But if once that ship left its home port, you no longer had any rights. They all belonged to the captain. So if the captain wanted you for 6 years, he's probably going to do 4 years out here.
Before, he had his vaqueros tend to his cattle. Now, could anybody guess what vaquero means in English if there's somebody that tends to cattle? Yes, you.
Vaquero is a cowboy.
Yes, vaquero is a cowboy. That's exactly right. And could anybody guess who Sutter's vaqueros were? What ethnicity were they? Yeah, they were men from the local Indian villages. They worked as Sutter's vaqueros, and they were in charge of Sutter's cows, and some of them served as Sutter's soldiers in his army as well. And in this room, the vaquero room, this is where they kept all their supplies when tending to Sutter's cattle. So they kept their blankets, saddles.
There's some prickly hair on the outside here. You pluck it out and throw it away, and you wanted the nice soft fur next to the skin right here. You shave that off, mix it with water and chemicals, including mercury. That's why we have a Mad Hatter, because you get around mercury, it drives you crazy. It does. So then you press that material really tight and become a felt, and the felt becomes the hat material. So it's a processed hat. You can buy beaver hats today. They're called Stetsons. And a good quality Stetson hat will cost about $800 today. Back in 1830, a beaver hat made out of beaver would cost about $250. And that's when a tradesman would work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, and make $25 a month. A very expensive hat. They last a lifetime. So, in 1837, though, some feller made a hat from silk. And the ladies wanted their men to wear silk hats instead of beaver hats. So the price of beaver fell from about $10 to $15 for this blue to $1. So then Captain Sutter said to his trappers, besides trapping beaver, I want you to trap this critter. And what's this critter? What kind of otter? River otter, yeah. This was a garment fur. And you use it just like you feel it here. So very carefully you can feel it as it goes, as I bring it by you. Just very, very gently touch it. Feel it. What do you smell like to you?
I didn't smell like beaver.
This smells like cash money, folks.
That's right.
That's how I catch my beaver. Please don't do that on my back. Some of you kids don't even weigh 80 pounds, do you? So, when I set a trap, it's called breaking a trap. I'm going to break the trap open here. And I will set it like so. And I put it down in water. And I take some of this beaver scent on a stick over my trap. Beaver comes in the morning. He smells that beaver scent. He goes right towards that to fight us off his beavers. And when he gets close, he puts his foot down to walk across the riverbed and steps in my trap. And I catch him.
That's tight.
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah, it scared you. It scared the beaver too. Yeah. So, but sometimes the beavers escape from my trap. How do they escape?
Chop, chop.
What? What do they chop off? You're right.
They chop off. They have to chop off.
What?
They chop off their feet.
You got it. You have to cut off their foot. Or chew off their ankle. And so they escape. I get their foot. That's all I get. I don't like that. There's damn much beavers for it. So, in 1845, though, Captain Sutter, do you ever eat it?
No.
Then your beaver is safe. Because I eat beaver tail. Well, let me tell you about it. Do you guys know what hardtack is?
Yes.
Hardtack is a biscuit about this big, around about that thick, and it's baked and baked and baked. It's like a rock. You know what jerky is?
Yes.
You ever hear of deer jerky or bear jerky?
Yes.
Beef jerky's passe. I don't like beef jerky.
I
Deer jerky or bear jerky, it's really hard too. And they're dry. That's my diet when I'm Captain Beaver. So I will put this beaver tail in my frying pan, get it all nice and hot and sizzling it. Out comes the fat from that beaver tail. It's almost gristle. Then I put my hardtack pieces and jerky pieces in there, and I think it's a really nice stew. It softens it up. It gives me fat. That's how I eat it.
No. Okay, really quick. Patty Reed, for those people that were stuck in those mountains, it wasn't just the Darner family, there were other families as well. The Reed family was also a family that was stuck there. There was a little girl named Patty Reed. She was around you guys' age. She had this doll that she named Dolly. Dolly she was supposed to get rid of, however she kept it. Patty Reed, as well as her family, they all survived. None of them died. Once Patty Reed got older, because she wanted to thank Sutter's Fort for helping her family come and rescue them from the Sierra Nevada mountains, she actually donated that doll that she held onto. So we have her doll, Dolly, here at the fort. So if you guys have time after, make sure you guys go check out Dolly. Dolly is in our orientation room, which you can go through either of those two doors that say low door. That's the orientation room. You can find Dolly there. So make sure you check her out. And when you see her, you'll understand how she was able to actually hide her, because she was supposed to get rid of her doll. All right, so back to our map. We have these families traveling 2,000 miles for an average of 6 months. Now, what means of transportation did those families usually use? Just say it out loud. Wagon, right. And so that's why we have this wagon right here in the fort. And it's not from the 1800s. However, it is a replica of a typical farm wagon that those families used. It could hold about 2,000 pounds. The inside of it is pretty small, so it's about the size of the inside of a small SUV. It doesn't have any brakes, and it doesn't have any springs. So if you were to ride inside of that wagon, it would be a very uncomfortable ride. Now, what typically pulled your father to hook up the oxen to the wagon? And this thing back here is actually an example of a yoke that they would use. Girls, you guys would have to be up by 5 a.m. to help your mother to cook breakfast for the family, as well as to take your supplies that you had taken off of the wagon and put them back onto the wagon. And speaking of loading the wagon, these families had to be very choosy about what they took with them, because as you can see, that wagon is pretty small inside, so they probably would not be able to fit everything that they wanted to take with them, so they only could take the necessities. Now, if you just imagine, these wagons, you're trying to pack them with all your necessities that you're going to need. So it's packed to the full, to the max. Now, do you think that there would also be enough room inside of that wagon for those families to ride in? No. No, right. So typically, those families walked alongside that wagon. So they walked for that 2,000 miles for 6 months. So a typical day for them would be that they would start off in the morning. They would walk until the sun was at its highest. Then they would stop, take a break, maybe eat lunch. Then they would continue on until early evening. Early evening they would stop, set up camp, have dinner, go to sleep, and then wake up the next morning and do it all over again. And that's pretty much what they would do for that 2,000 miles for 6 months. So that is a little bit about their journey. Your stuff here, right there, over there. And then I need you two girls at the end. Your other second set of wagon wheels. So over here, no, over here. All right, I just need you to stand by the rope. Leave the ropes on the ground, one over there, and one over here, one over here. Just leave the ropes on the ground because it's easier to lower our wagon when the rope's on the ground. All right, so let's pull the wagon. Austin, right. So we are going to use Austin. All right, leave the ropes on the ground. You guys, leave the ropes on the ground. And I need two people. So you stand in two on each rope. You guys should be able to figure that out. Supplies, I need to see your hands. All right, so we want to make sure you guys reach our destination safely. So make sure you do not bump into each other. There should be enough room once we start so you don't have to bump into each other. My wagon wheels in the back especially. Make sure you guys stay in the back because sometimes the wagon wheels come forward. Make sure you guys stay in the back. My oxen. You guys always stay behind me and your wagon master. We're going to be moving at a slow pace. We're not going to be running, okay? There's going to be a few commands that you are going to hear. Go is to go, whoa is to stop, G is to turn right, and ha is to turn left, and I'll remind you. All right, so my wagon wheels and my oxen, go ahead and pick up your rope. All right, so we're going to go this way. So I need you to yell out, go. Go. So he said go, so we are going. So we're going to go this way. This way, oxen. This way. All right. All right, hold on. Whoa. Okay, we are not moving at the same pace. Guys, my wagon wheel, you don't have to pull hard. Just walk over everyone else. It doesn't have to be tight. All right, so we are ready to go. Let's go. Let's go. You should have a pull.
Are you taking
All right, so we are ready to go. Let's go. Wagon wheels. We're going to turn right. G, this way. This way. This way.
Gavin?
One thing we want to point out is this building right here. This is the Central building. This is actually the oldest building in the Sacramento Valley. The first